Zain Verji, CNN, the West. They do make it an issue. They have been making it an issue for many months now. Many in the international community are saying that by your signing of this bill, you're taking Uganda a step backwards, that you are not protecting the freedoms and the rights and the choices of the Ugandan people. So how do you respond to that? And specifically, President Obama has said he was deeply disappointed by Uganda's move and says that it would complicate US-Uganda relations. I've listened to everything that you've said in the statement, so how would you respond to that? And does it worry you, and have you spoken directly to President Obama about this?
Well, we have been disappointed for a long time by the conduct of the West, the way you conduct yourselves there. But we just keep quiet. We just see how you do things, how the families, how they are organized, in all these things. We see them, we keep quiet. We never comment because it's not our country. Maybe you like it. So, since there is now an attempt at social imperialism to impose social values of one group on our society, then our disappointment is now exacerbated because we are sorry to see that you live the way you live, but we keep quiet about it. Now you say we must also live like us. That's why we say no.
What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa. Yes, I want to do this video right here because I want to share a compilation that this young lady did. Her name is Dumebi, D-U-M-E-B-I, Leah, L-E-A. Young lady put together this whole European coming into Africa, always asking the question about the LGBT rights. And what I find interesting or disturbing is that they always have the audacity to come in and try to change Africa and bend it, twist it, confuse it in the way the mess that America's in. You know, Africa stands strong on not, wanting to embrace this type of lifestyle. So check the video out and I'll be back.
In our country, we will have our morals. We will protect our children. And we are making this law. We are making this law for ourselves. We are making this law for our children. We are making this law for the children of our children. This country will stand firm. And once it passed, I can tell you, Madam Speaker, we are going to reinforce the law enforcement officers to make sure that homosexuals have no space in.
And that the state should not discriminate against people based on their sexual orientation. And I say that recognizing that there may be people who have different religious or cultural beliefs, but the issue is, how does the state operate relative to people?
It's very difficult for us to be able to impose on people that which they themselves do not accept. This is why I repeatedly say that for Kenyans today, the issue of gay rights is really a non-issue. We want to focus on other areas that are day-to-day living for our people. The health issues that we have discussed with President Obama, these are critical. Issues of ensuring inclusivity and of women, a huge section of society that is normally left out of the mainstream of economic development. What we can do in terms of infrastructure, what we can do in terms of education, in terms of our roads, in terms of giving our people power, encouraging entrepreneurship. These are the key focuses. Maybe once, like you have, overcome some of these challenges, we can begin to look at new ones. But as of now, the fact remains that this issue is not really an issue that is on the foremost mind of Kenyans.
We are saying no to homosexuality. Why should you say we're going to be civilized if we only allow it? Are you saying we are very primitive now because we are frowning upon homosexuality? Even animals don't do it. Why should we be forced to do it? Because we want to be seen to be smart, to be seen to be civilized and advanced and so on.
We equally reject attempts to prescribe new rights that are contrary to our values, norms, traditions, and beliefs. We are not gays.
And for people who don't know what LGBT is, that's gay and lesbian community. So I'm wondering, you've done so much for women in Rwanda, and they have so much power. I'm wondering, is the LGBT community a part of the future of Rwanda?
LGBT.
Homosexuality.
Yes. It hasn't been our problem. And we don't intend to make it a problem.
Madam President, what's your position on decriminalising homosexual acts in Liberia?
I've already taken a position on that we're not going to sign any such law.
You won't sign any law to decriminalise?
I won't sign any law that has to do with that area, none whatsoever. We like ourselves just the way we are.
So in essence, homosexuality for two gay men under the books is illegal in Liberia?
We've got certain traditional values in our society that we'd like to preserve.
So you're saying you wouldn't decriminalise that current law?
I've just said to you, we're going to maintain our traditional values.
You yourself gained worldwide attention a few years ago when you said there was, quote, no room for homosexuality in Kenyan society. I want to know whether you still stand by that.
We have Kenyan law, we have Kenyan constitution, we have our tradition, we have our customs. We will continue to respect other people's customs as they respect our customs and our tradition.
Around the world. What I can tell you about steps the United States might take in response is that we are undertaking a review of our relationship with Uganda in light of this decision.
But Museveni remains unperturbed.
The outsiders cannot dictate to us. This is our country, this is our society, this is our future. It is not anybody's future. And the outsiders will have to live with us, or if they don't want, they take their aid and we shall. Uganda is very rich, we don't need aid. In fact, aid is part of the problem. This is the mistake of Western countries. They are the ones who are provoking, because they are really, the English word is insufferable. You can't put up with their nonsense, because nobody concentrates so much on homosexuals. Nobody is hunting them. But because they come and want to force us to say homosexuality, oh yeah, that's how you get now a backlash. They are the ones who are provoking all this.
We have grave concerns with the passage of the Anti-Homosexuality Act, AHA, by the Parliament of Uganda yesterday, and increasing violence targeting LGBTQI+ persons. If the AHA is signed into law and enacted, it would impinge upon universal human rights, jeopardize progress in the fight against HIV/AIDS, deter tourism and invest in Uganda, and damage Uganda's international reputation. The bill is one of the most extreme anti-LGBTQI+ laws in the world. Human rights are universal. No one should be attacked, imprisoned, or killed simply because of who they are or whom they love.
So what do you think? You know, whether it's Europe, America, these Western worlds where the Caucasians are, you know, I can't get mad at them when they, you know, live this lifestyles, because it's really their history. It's their culture. When you really look into the Romans, the Greeks, Europe, that homosexuality was, something that was accepted, and it was just a way of life. And yet one needs to know, why is America or Europe, these reporters that come around asking these questions, why is it that it's so important to get countries in Africa to submit? They don't go into Saudi Arabia and the Muslim countries, Yemen and UAE, and ask them any of those questions when the punishment is death. Over there, they don't force and push their way through. But why Africa? Do you know why? You see, Africa has over 1.5 billion people. Africa has the youngest population from the ages of, I think, 18 to 30. That is the majority of the population. Let me just say this right here in closing. Africans need to wake up, which they are, in this whole propaganda that is being spread over to the country through the social media, that the youth are trying to follow this whole black culture that is headed down to hell. If they only knew the conditions of a majority of the black culture, the youth, I think the government would be more involved in ensuring their children are not subject to these music videos, these movies that come in. Because we already see it creeping in how you see in some of the cities in Africa, the youth are starting to look like and act like they're black Americans. Don't get offended, you're black American. It's just how it is that the system has propagated, has painted a picture of how we are as a people. And this culture of people around the world think it's cool. The LGBT agenda, they think that it's rights instead of that it's a hindrance. So with that, family, this is your man, not your boy. Go black to Africa.
Think about it, 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 think about it.